The Oak and Oscar Olmsted is a watch I've observed from afar for quite some time. I've wanted to see what made this watch such a fan favorite, and when they reached out to me for review, I immediately said yes. The Olmsted is built for wearability. The 38mm case has a modest 44.9mm lug-to-lug and a thickness of only 10.8mm. These dimensions may seem familiar to those who are fans of the Sinn 556. The two watches wear alike in many ways, but the Olmsted pulled slightly ahead in on-wrist comfort. Even though the watch is mostly dial with only a small fixed bezel, I found that it wore true to its case width. The large dial allows for instant legibility, and the contrast offered by the white dial gives you everything you'd want in a modern field watch. The Olmsted has a sandwich dial, and the white dial is the only dial color with non-lume numerals. Instead, the pips that flank the numerals are lumed, and I found that despite their small size, they glowed bright enough to be able to read the time at night. With that said, the lume is barely needed, as the numerals are visible at night in all but pitch blackness. The sandwich dial itself is perfectly executed. The cutouts for the numerals, which have a proprietary font, are slightly rounded on the edges. This gives the dial a softer look, without sacrificing any of the tool watch look the Olmsted is going for. The Olmsted is a modern field watch, and the dial is laid out in a way that allows you to read the time quickly and get back to business. Dial text is kept to a minimum, and even their logo at 6 o'clock is embossed so it blends into the dial color instead of standing out. The Olmsted splashes color throughout the dial with the orange seconds hand and orange numerals on the chapter rings at the cardinal positions. Oak and Oscar's accent color is always orange, and it goes well with each dial color the Olmsted is offered in. Beating away inside the Olmsted is an ETA 2892. If you're a fan of the ETA 2824, you'll love the smooth winding action the 2892 offers. You can get a view of the movement through the exhibition caseback. The bracelet on the Olmsted is solid and has some heft without being cumbersome. The links articulate nicely, and the 20 to 16mm taper adds some additional comfort. I don't have any major complaints about the clasp, but I wouldn't mind seeing Oak and Oscar add a quick micro-adjust system in the future. I mentioned in the beginning of the review the similarity of the Olmsted to the Sinn 556. Even though the 556 is classified as a pilot's watch, it feels more like a modern field watch. The two watches share a similar sole, but differ in many ways. However, they wear a lot like each other. Their dimensions are almost the same, but the Olmsted feels more streamlined. It may be the lack of crown guards or the bracelet on the Olmsted, but I prefer how the Olmsted feels. I'm not sure if this is what Oak and Oscar was gunning for when they designed the Olmsted, but if it was, they nailed it. When it comes to watches in the $1,500 to $2,000 price bracket, value starts to become a huge factor. What are these watches offering that makes them cost so much? For a three-hand time and date field watch, that question needs to be answered. Oak and Oscar has done a bang-up job of answering it for me. All of what I've said in this review gives the Olmsted a solid value proposition. If you take a direct comparison to a watch I've compared this to, the Sinn 556, that value proposition starts to come into clear focus. You're getting a better movement, a more comfortable bracelet, and a watch that is built just as tough. All of this, and it costs roughly the same. I know where I'd put my money, and it wouldn't be the German brand. I wasn't sure what to expect when I started opening the package for the Olmsted review sample, but let me tell you, it blew away any expectations I had. Thanks for watching the video review, and for the full written review, head over to watchclicker.com.